From super yachts to farming oysters, Phil Morris is a self-confessed water baby. In this Junction film, we take a journey down the Mahurangi River, where Phil talks about his love of farming oysters and sharing the delights of his Shuckle Ferry and Matakana river tours.
Yeah, I've always had a love of boats and being on the water since an early age. We used to come up here sailing as a family, quite often hiding out in somewhere in the harbour here over the summertime. Growing up, leaving school, I started on the local companies of the Shuckle Ferries, and from there and being involved with the America's Cup when it was first in New Zealand, I saw the opportunity of super yachts and decided to travel, and ended up being in Florida and got my first job, and then also ended my career in Florida about 13 years later from being on super yachts travelling all around the world. So the Mahurangi Harbour is really an amazing natural resource that we've got here. On this coastline we do have quite a number of harbours, and they all serve this purpose for different things. This one here being the main aquaculture harbour in the area. Well, actually the only aquaculture harbour in the area. With a lot of the northeast coast around New Zealand, we have two types of oysters here. We have the New Zealand natural rock oyster, which has always been here, and then we've also got the Pacific oyster, which I showcase on this tour. And the Pacific oyster has been extensively farmed here now for over 40 years. They first thought it was come into New Zealand on a boat, on the hull of a boat, and the story goes that it was brought in by the clip-ons, which we use for the Auckland Harbour Bridge. From there it spread around New Zealand, and the Mahurangi Harbour being one of the first places to commercially farm the Pacific oyster, and it's now grown into a very big business with about 13 oyster farmers here on the harbour, all growing and producing various amounts of oysters. The Pacific oyster is really a viable option and very sustainable, very fast growing, and it particularly likes this harbour and the kind of shallow waters of the harbour, but also the harbour being nutrient rich. It allows the oysters to grow and to really produce a high quality product. So the Oyster and Wine Festival, which is held in Matakana, is in its second year now. Last year was a huge success, and it's a fantastic festival held in the prime season for oysters. So oyster season kind of through the winter time. This time of year the oysters are lovely and plump, meaty, and it's on a Sunday the 7th of October. So a great festival, just a great day out. So the boat, the Shuckle Ferry, was originally owned by another oyster farming couple and another family-run business, and I've taken it over in April, and it's a brilliant little vessel for what we do. The Mahurangi Harbour is always pretty nice and calm, so we don't have any worries about big seas or swells, and the vessel itself holds 20 people. We leave a place called Scott's Landing, and we have a set up, really comfortable design, kind of loungy, great for entertaining friends and families and guests or business guests. Have a big table in the middle. We set it up. Once we get some fresh oysters out of the water, then the little deal is you don't get to taste an oyster until you open it yourself. So we show you how you open them, tea towel and knife, and then basically get involved, have a good old shucking fest. Have a couple of beers, a wine, and really enjoy the day and the atmosphere of the harbour.
A little bit of Tabasco. Yeah. Down the hatch.
At the end of the day, it's all about going out and having a fantastic day on the water, and don't worry about the season. We've got clear sides. You won't get wet, but you'll have a fantastic day on the water.
Got the juice of the water in there, what we call the brine.
For me personally, an oyster is all about enjoying it with friends and family. It's like any good social event or social food. I think it's great being able to sit around a table with a whole shell oyster and some mates, a couple of beers, and and open some oysters, maybe some other seafood along with it that you've gathered or purchased on the day. And for me, that's what it's all about, is just enjoying the food with good friends and family. So the future of the Mahurangi River is, I think, in good hands, or the Mahurangi Harbour is in good hands. We have some really great groups, community groups, which are very proactive in ensuring the water quality is kept to a high standard. Of course, Warkworth, Satellite Town, really going ahead, really pushing ahead. But I think the councils, particularly with Watercare New Zealand, looking at ways of securing that future. The local board and different council groups, I think the harbour is in good stead to keep it in pristine condition for generations ahead. So the Matakana River Tours was the first little venture that I started up in the area once coming back from overseas, and it really was to showcase a tidal estuary in New Zealand. Not many people get to see what's down them, but also the Matakana River, very historic. All these little townships up this coastline were first formed from the rivers. The rivers were the first roads, and I really wanted to keep that history alive of the river. But also it's just a great little 1 hour tour for people coming up for the day. Again, still just want to get out on a boat, but can enjoy it on a safe, calm water. Now we've brought in options of paddleboarding down the river and a boat back, so really just trying to get people out on waterways and showcase the lovely harbours that we have. And Matakana River Tours was a great stepping stone to do that. And over the summertime, we also quite often feed a few stingrays down the river. So, you know, it's amazing what's under the water and also what's on top of the water, which you might not get to see if you didn't come on down the river.